Righto, tally-ho, today I'm going to be looking at the ROG Swift PG27VQ curved gaming monitor. It's a 27-inch 2K WQ HD 1440p, so that's 2560 by 1440, overclockable to 165 Hz, 1 millisecond response, G-Sync, Aura Sync, so that's the ASUS Aura Sync. You can sync it up with all your other ASUS products. It's a curved monitor, 1800R curved monitor. Now, there is no such thing as a perfect gaming monitor, but this thing comes to as close as perfect as you're going to get, because at the end of the day, what you think is best is based on your needs, what's best for you. But this thing sits in the sweet spot of everything. It's not as big and as cumbersome as a 32 or 34 inch display, but it's not dinky like a 24 inch display. So in the perfect sweet spot there at 27 inches. It's curved, widescreen, and what the curve's supposed to do is basically keep the same distance between your eye and the display wherever you look on the display. It's also 1440p, so it's not low resolution like your 1080p display, but it's 1440p, so you can still get those high frame rates, but you don't have to suffer like having 4K and taking a massive hit on those frame rates. And the difference between 1440p and 4K isn't a huge jump like 1080p to 4K. So again, perfectly balanced right in the middle there. And when it comes to what a gamer wants, 165 Hz, 1 millisecond response, G-Sync enabled, has the ASUS Aura Sync there, so the RGB lighting to synchronize with your other ASUS products. And it's best if you get other ASUS products. You don't have to, but everything will match and all the lighting will match, and it just looks fantastic if you do that. But as you see, perfectly balanced, everything the gamer wants, the full-on specs, but it's balanced right in the middle, perfectly in the sweet spot. Now this thing isn't cheap. It's around $1,200 in Australia, I believe, around £800 or $800 US. So it is a premium product, but at 27 inches, these sort of gaming specs on it, pretty much the fastest curved widescreen out there. I don't recall seeing anyone faster than this. And when you think it has G-Sync, so anything with G-Sync is expensive, but what it does is it makes the game so smooth. 165 Hz plus G-Sync and ghosting. What ghosting? No tearing, no ghosting, no anything. It was just epic to game with this thing. And as you'll see, looking at it, very thin bezels, so you can put a few together and you'll still get a seamless experience because the bezels are so small. And it does have 16.7 million colors. It gets pretty bright with 400 nits of brightness there, and it is anti-glare, and that curve helps with that, but there is no glare whatsoever on this screen. It's very good, and it covers 72% of NTSC color gamut there, so it does have a fairly wide color gamut when you're thinking gaming displays here. So everything looks fantastic. You know, you'll have to tune it a bit, but you will be able to do some color correction work and stuff like that on this. Although it is a gaming laptop, it's not made for that. So 1000:1 contrast ratio, it's low blue light levels, so you can set the blue light levels for ease on your eyes there, and also flicker free technology, so you'll be able to game for longer on this. 40-degree swivel, height adjustment of 100 millimeters, and tilt 20 to -5 degrees there, so fantastic. So let's have a look at it and see how it goes. Alright, so in the box you get the usual manuals there, HDMI, display port, cable. This is the power brick, tiny little power brick there. It's quite small, and what do we got here? 1.5 amp, 19 volt, 100 to 240 there. You get a CD for drivers or software. As you can see here, it has this gamer theme, this plasma liquid copper sort of gaming theme there, and you'll see it's all embellished with graphics on the back. And as you'll see with this stand here, it will sit deep into the table, so just remember that. Very good quality stand there, but it is going to sit deep into the table, and that's because this is so thick behind the monitor there, because at the end of the day, 160 Hz 1440p, yeah, that's some serious power there, and it has the adequate ventilation to power that. As you can see on the back, it is the black on black with the ROG label there, ROG signed throughout. This is actually attached to the monitor, so that's very good. Whereas like the 34-inch ultra wide, you actually have to attach it. This one you don't have to. And let's have a look at the inputs. There you can see display port, HDMI 2, that's for that's USB downstream, that's USB upstream for your USBs here. So that's USB B, and your USB 3's there, and the service port. Don't touch that, of course. And we have the power and audio jack there. You also have a cover for that, so it can look nice and neat. So there, looks nice and neat. Now with that, it is a bit fiddly to get in there, but once you put it in, it's fine. You have the on-screen display buttons here, the function buttons for that, and you have the nipple, of course, so that controls your OSD. The stand, as I showed you before, quality, nice piece of metal there. And you also get these things. These are for the LED glow at the bottom of the display. I'll show you later. And that's a replacement one or a different pattern there. So that's pretty cool. And that's just a bolt. It's a bolt in the stand. So I'll connect it all up and hook it up to some PUBG. Let's go, baby. Alright, so what is it like to game with this? 1440p, 165 Hz, G-Sync enabled, buttery smooth. I better turn this airco off. You probably can't hear me, but I will not be gaming for too long. Because it is boiling hot here in Australia at the moment. Sorry about having the airco on. Forgot about that. Okay, I'm using a controller, not because I'm a peasant, because, yeah, just because it's easier for me to film. So where am I going to jump? Mansion? Mansion? Yeah, I'm going to the mansion, baby. See if we can get a bit of action. But look at that, silky smooth, 165 Hz, G-Sync. Oh, doesn't get any better. Let's jump. Oh, where is the mansion? It's down here somewhere. Woo! Oh, it is so smooth. I wish you could feel this. The camera's not going to show it. Now, there is one thing to know. You're going to need a beast of a computer to play this at 165 Hertz or 165 frames, 1440p. Yeah, 1060 probably won't get you there. Probably need a 1070 and above. Depends what kind of game it is. PUBG, it's a struggle to get there with a Titan X or even just a Strix 1080 Ti. It is very demanding, but oh, look at how colourful it looks too. It looks fantastic, this game like this. The TN panel is certainly very nice. Certainly the best TN panel I've actually seen. I actually do have another ASUS TN panel here, and it's not as good as this one, I can tell you. So yeah, you will need a beast of a computer, but some games like, for example, Call of Duty are so smooth. When I'm panning, it just feels so good. I digress. Sorry about that. Yes, games like Call of Duty, World War II, something like Overwatch and stuff like that. Better turn that sound up a little bit. We need a little bit of sound. Look what we have here, level 3 helmet. Awesome. So yeah, games like Overwatch, Call of Duty, World War II, they will pull 165 frames, probably even on a GTX 1060. But yeah, if you want to be a baller, you just get all the ASUS products. You get the ROG like Strix graphics card, monitor, you sync up Aura. You get the same motherboard as well that supports Aura Sync and ASUS. Or if you want easy way to get into LEDs and syncing all your lights together and just have matching stuff, here's a good way to go. Oh. Now I just need a vest. What do you reckon? I hate these things. These shotguns that look like rifles, I really hate them. They annoyed friggin' hell out of me. Yeah, so it is fantastic, and obviously, the more frames per second you can get, the better. G-Sync will sync them all up. There's no tearing. It just looks fantastic, and I can hear the plane there. I'd like to go chase it actually. See if I can find it. I just need a vest. That's all I need, a vest. But I do love gaming with this. It's fantastic. It's a good product. 27 inch is a good size, especially if you're close to it. It is a very nice size. It's not too big. Remember though that this does sit deep on the table. So if you've got one of those IKEA tables that are really, they're very shallow. Holy my heart. Where did that come from? So have a look at that. How cool is that? You've seen the RGB on the back. Awesome looking display there. Now, this is a TN panel. So it has the TN traits, which means the viewing angles aren't the best compared to IPS, but they're definitely more than acceptable, as you will see here. Especially when you get low, that's when the viewing angles start to show up there, but you're never going to be sitting there. And above, not too bad. But 165 Hz, 1440p, 1 millisecond response time. You're not going to get that with an IPS panel. So TN is the right choice here. And have a look, it looks good. It's got the curve, so it sort of keeps an equal distance between your eyes and the display there, because you will be sitting fairly close to this. It will immerse you. Also, how good is the reflection control there? How good. Daylight coming in here, reflections. I've got a massive light here, reflections. Can you see them? Unbelievable, right? And the piece de resistance is, of course, let's go in here. Oh, look at that. G-Sync, baby. And look at that, baby. 165. Let's go, baby. That's the way to do it. It's the only way to fly. G-Sync with high refresh monitor. Fantastic. Also at the back here, of course, you have the nipple. You have the on-screen display. So this is very easy to set up. First thing I done was turn on that. Yeah, okay. It gives you a warning when you turn it to 165 Hz. We'll just go, yep, no worries, whatever. Because obviously there's a massive difference between 60 and 165. So it does have to reset when you set it to 165. And of course, that's the first thing I set. You have lots of options in here: blue light filter, color, brightness, contrast, all the usual things. Overdrive you have darkness boost, and sometimes you need that for TN panels, but this one is like bang out of the box. It's really good. I didn't have to mess about with it. What else we got? You got sort of Aura RGB, so you can do the different kinds of cycling with the RGB in there. And of course you have the bottom light here. You can control that as well in here. Very easy to use. This nipple is very easy to use. I shouldn't say nipple, I'm going to get flagged. This joystick is very easy to use. And of course you have presets for gaming as well. So let's go in for a close look. Have a look how bright and vivid it is. If anything, it might be a little bit oversaturated, but you can play with the settings. And for a gamer type monitor, you do want that pop. Now just have a look how sharp those rocks look. How sharp do they look? 1440p, they look sharp as. And gaming monitors, you're not going to really want to use them for content creation, stuff like that. They're not made for that. They're not going to be the most color accurate things out there, but wow, it's just going to pop. Well, certainly this one does, and the games look fantastic. So close up you can see it looks fabulous. And a lot of people bag TN, but you're not going to get those refresh rates and response rates with any other type of monitor, and it does look good. Look at it. I mean, you cannot complain about that. So to conclude, I want to say this is like almost perfection, perfect blend between size, speed, fantastic display, bright and vivid. It's fantastic for gaming. 165Hz G-Sync, 1 millisecond response. This is what you want if you're a gamer. I can say without hesitation, when you get this, you're gonna love it. And the only bad thing is I have to give this thing back, unfortunately. And yeah, it is a bit fiddly to get those connections in at the back, and maybe the aesthetic, you might not like it or not, but I think it's all right, and the build quality is fantastic. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Why not subscribe if you're new around here, and until next time guys, tally ho.